What would you do if your dream date arrived on a bicycle instead of a luxury car? Hannah's answer was swift and cruel. She humiliated him in front of everyone, throwing water in his face and rejecting him without a second thought. But what she didn't know would change her life forever. While Hannah chased after wealth and appearances, her best friend Regina made a different choice, one that would lead to the most shocking revelation of their lives. This is the story of two friends, two dates, and one life-changing night at a gala that exposed the truth about worth, character, and the danger of judging a book by its cover. Before we begin, comment below the country you're watching from. What happened next will leave you speechless. This is a story you won't forget. Let's dive in.
Hannah stared at her phone screen, her heart racing with excitement. The dating app notification glowed brightly. Congratulations! You've been matched with someone special. Meet at Bella's Cafe tomorrow at 2 p.m. She squealed and immediately video called her best friend, Regina. "Girl, I got matched!" Hannah's voice was electric with anticipation. Regina's face appeared on screen equally thrilled. "Me too! Same time, same place. Can you believe it?" The two friends had signed up for an exclusive blind dating service that promised to connect women with successful, established gentlemen. They had spent weeks crafting the perfect profiles, selecting their best photos, and dreaming about the sophisticated men they might meet. "I wonder what he'll be like," Hannah mused, already imagining a tall, handsome man stepping out of a luxury car. The app said he's financially stable and accomplished. I'm thinking corporate executive, maybe a doctor. Regina laughed. "You're already planning the wedding, but honestly, I'm just hoping for someone genuine, someone with a good heart." "Good heart and a good bank account," Hannah corrected, with a wink. "Why settle for less when you can have both?" That night, Hannah tried on 7 different outfits before settling on a designer dress she'd saved 3 months to buy. She wanted to look perfect, expensive, worthy of the caliber of man she expected to meet. Regina, on the other hand, chose a simple but elegant sundress. Comfortable, authentic, true to herself. Neither woman could have predicted that tomorrow would change everything they thought they knew about love, wealth, and worth. The stage was set, the players were ready, and fate had written a script neither of them could imagine. Bella's Cafe was nestled in the heart of the city's upscale district, where the elite sipped overpriced lattes and discussed business deals. Hannah and Regina arrived 30 minutes early, securing a perfect table by the window where they could watch for their dates. "Remember," Hannah said, touching up her lipstick, "first impressions matter. The car he drives, the watch he wears, his shoes, these things tell you everything about a man's success." Regina nodded absently, her eyes scanning the street with nervous excitement. At exactly 2 p.m., a sleek black luxury sedan pulled up to the cafe. The vehicle gleamed under the afternoon sun, its chrome accents catching the light like diamonds. Hannah gripped Regina's arm. "Oh my God, that has to be one of them!" But the car didn't stop. It drove past, disappearing down the street. 5 minutes later, another expensive car approached. This one actually parked. A tall, handsome man in an impeccably tailored suit stepped out, adjusting his designer sunglasses. He looked like he'd walked straight out of a fashion magazine. "That's mine," she whispered confidently. "That's definitely mine." But then, from the opposite direction, came the sound that made Hannah's smile freeze. The cheerful ring of a bicycle bell. A man pedaled toward the cafe on an old, slightly rusted bicycle. He wore simple jeans, a plain button-down shirt, and worn sneakers. His hair was slightly disheveled from the ride. He parked the bicycle against the cafe's bike rack, pulled out his phone, checked something on the screen, and then looked directly at their table. He smiled and waved.
Hannah's face drained of color. No, no, please tell me that's not... The man on the bicycle walked towards them with a warm, genuine smile. Hannah? He asked hopefully.
Hannah's face twisted with disgust. She looked at the man standing before her, then at his bicycle parked outside, then back at him with pure contempt. "You rode a bicycle?" Her voice was loud enough to turn heads throughout the cafe. "Are you serious right now?" Maxwell's smile faltered. Yes, I enjoy cycling. It's good for the environment. And good for the environment? Hannah's laugh was cruel and sharp. This is a joke, right? The app said successful and established. You can't even afford a car. Regina touched Hannah's arm gently. Hannah, maybe we should... Stay out of this, Regina. Hannah stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. She grabbed her glass of water from the table. Maxwell held up his hands peacefully. Look, I understand this isn't what you expected, but if you just give me a chance to... Hannah threw the entire glass of water directly in Maxwell's face. The cold liquid soaked his shirt and dripped from his hair. The entire cafe went silent, every patron staring at the scene in shock. "That's what I think of you and your pathetic bicycle," Hannah hissed. "Don't ever waste my time again." Maxwell stood there, dripping wet, his face a mixture of shock and deep hurt. He didn't say a word. He simply pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and began wiping his face. Regina's heart broke watching him. The humiliation in his eyes was unbearable. Just then, the handsome man in the designer suit approached their table. "Regina?" he asked with a charming smile. Regina barely glanced at him. Her eyes were fixed on Maxwell, who was quietly gathering his dignity.
"I'm Benson," the well-dressed man said, extending his hand to Regina. His watch caught the light, expensive and flashy. "You look even more beautiful than your profile picture." Regina didn't take his hand. She was watching Maxwell, who had turned to leave, his wet shirt clinging to his back, his shoulders slightly hunched in humiliation. Something inside her couldn't let him walk away like that. "Wait!" Regina called out. Maxwell stopped, but didn't turn around. Regina stood up and walked over to him. "I'm so sorry for what just happened. You didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that." Maxwell finally turned to face her, his eyes searching hers for mockery, but finding only genuine kindness. "It's okay," he said quietly. "I should have known better." "No," Regina said firmly. "She should have known better. Listen, I know this is unconventional, but would you still like to have that date? With me?" Maxwell's eyes widened in surprise. "But your date just arrived. That guy in the suit." Regina glanced back at Benson, who was now sitting at the table with Hannah, both of them laughing about something. Hannah had already forgotten about Maxwell entirely, her eyes sparkling as she admired Benson's luxury watch. "Let them have each other," Regina said with a small smile. "I'd rather spend my afternoon with someone real." Maxwell's face transformed. The hurt in his eyes melted away, replaced by cautious hope and genuine warmth. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Completely sure." Behind them, Hannah noticed what was happening. "Regina, what are you doing? Your date is here!" Regina didn't even look back. "You two enjoy yourselves." She linked her arm through Maxwell's. "So, where would you like to go?"
Hannah and Benson's date was everything she had dreamed of. He drove her in his luxury sedan to the most expensive restaurant in the city, where crystal chandeliers hung from vaulted ceilings, and each plate cost more than most people's weekly salary. "Order anything you want," Benson said with a confident smile, gesturing expansively at the menu. "Money is no object." Hannah's eyes gleamed as she ordered lobster, the finest wine, and a dessert that came with actual gold flakes. Between courses, Benson talked about expensive cars, designer brands, and exclusive clubs. He name-dropped celebrities and business tycoons, painting a picture of a life of luxury. "You know," Benson said, leaning in closer, "I'm hosting a gala next weekend. All the elite from the city will be there. Politicians, CEOs, celebrities. Would you like to be my guest?" Hannah nearly choked on her wine with excitement. "A gala? With the elite? I would love to." "Perfect," Benson said smoothly. "Wear your finest. This will be a night you'll never forget." Meanwhile, across town, Regina and Maxwell sat on a simple park bench overlooking a lake. They had stopped at a small food truck and bought tacos, laughing as the sauce dripped onto their napkins.
"So tell me," Maxwell said, his voice genuine and curious. "What do you dream about? Not the material stuff. What makes your heart sing?" Regina was surprised by the question. Nobody had ever asked her that before. I want to make a difference. Maybe work with children or help people who've lost hope. I want my life to mean something beyond just accumulating things." Maxwell's smile was radiant. "That's beautiful. Really beautiful." They talked for hours about life, dreams, childhood memories, and fears.
Later that evening, Hannah burst into the apartment she shared with Regina, practically floating on air. "Regina, oh my God, you will not believe the day I had." She twirled around the living room, her designer heels clicking on the floor. "Benson is amazing. We went to Le Chateau, and he ordered everything without even looking at the prices." Regina smiled from the couch, where she was curled up with a cup of tea. "That sounds nice." "Nice? Nice?" Hannah laughed. "It was spectacular. And get this, he invited me to a gala next weekend. A real gala with all the most important people in the city." She paused, studying Regina. "Wait, how was your date with Bicycle Boy?" Regina's smile was soft and genuine. "His name is Maxwell, and it was perfect, actually. We talked for hours. He's kind, thoughtful, and really listens when you speak." Hannah rolled her eyes. "That's sweet and all, but did he take you anywhere impressive? Buy you anything?" "We had tacos by the lake." "Tacos?" Hannah looked horrified. "Girl, you downgraded so badly. While you were eating street food, I was dining with Crystal and champagne." Regina didn't argue. She simply sipped her tea, remembering Maxwell's laugh and the way his eyes lit up when he talked about his dreams. "Anyway," Hannah continued, "I need your help. The gala is in 5 days, and I need to look perfect. Will you come shopping with me? Help me find the most stunning dress." "Of course," Regina agreed. "That's what best friends do." Over the next few days, Hannah spent a fortune on a glittering evening gown, new shoes, jewelry, and a salon appointment. She talked nonstop about the gala, about Benson, about the important people she would meet. Regina listened patiently, even as her phone buzzed with sweet text messages from Maxwell. The night of the gala arrived. Hannah looked absolutely stunning in her shimmering gold gown, her hair styled in an elegant updo, diamonds glittering at her throat and ears. Benson picked her up in the luxury sedan, looking sharp in his tuxedo. "You look incredible," he said, though his tone was more rehearsed than genuine. The gala was held at the city's most prestigious hotel, a magnificent ballroom with marble floors and towering columns. Waiters in white gloves circulated with champagne on silver trays. Everyone was dressed in their finest, dripping with wealth and status. Hannah's heart raced with excitement as she entered on Benson's arm. This was everything she'd ever wanted. This was proof that she'd made the right choice. "Stay close to me," Benson instructed. "I need to check in with someone first." As they walked through the crowd, Hannah noticed people whispering and pointing, but not at her. They were all looking toward the front of the ballroom, where a stage had been set up. "Ladies and gentlemen," a voice boomed over the sound system,
Please welcome our host for this evening, the man whose generosity and vision made this event possible, Mr. Maxwell Chen, CEO of Chen Industries. The crowd erupted in applause. Hannah's blood ran cold. Maxwell? CEO? She watched in horror as the man from the bicycle, now transformed in an impeccably tailored tuxedo, walked onto the stage. He looked completely different. Confident, powerful, every inch the billionaire he actually was. But it was definitely him. The same warm eyes, the same genuine smile. Hannah grabbed Benson's arm. That's the bicycle guy. That's my boss. You're what? I'm his driver, his personal chauffeur. The car, the restaurant, everything. It was all his.
Hannah felt the room spinning. Her legs weakened, and she gripped Benson's arm to steady herself. The man she had humiliated, drenched with water, and mocked for riding a bicycle was standing on stage as the most powerful person in the room. "I don't understand," she whispered frantically. "Why would a billionaire ride a bicycle? Why would he dress like that?" Benson looked miserable. Mr. Chen believes in staying humble. He tests people, wants to see their true character before revealing who he really is. I was supposed to play the role of the wealthy suitor while he observed from a distance. But why? Because he's been hurt before. Women who only wanted his money, not him. He wanted to find someone real. Hannah's face flushed with shame as the full weight of her actions crashed down on her. On stage, Maxwell spoke with genuine warmth. "Thank you all for coming tonight. This gala supports education programs for underprivileged children, a cause very close to my heart." His eyes scanned the crowd. "But before we begin, I have a special announcement." The room fell silent. "A week ago, I went on a blind date. In fact, it went terribly. But something unexpected happened that changed everything." He gestured to someone off stage. "Regina, would you please join me?" Hannah's jaw dropped as Regina emerged from the side entrance, wearing a simple but elegant dress. She looked confused and surprised, clearly having no idea what was happening. Maxwell took her hand as she reached the stage. "When my original date humiliated me, this woman showed me kindness. She chose character over wealth, authenticity over appearance."
Regina stood on stage, her hand in Maxwell's, completely bewildered by what was happening. The spotlight was blinding, and hundreds of elite guests stared at them. "Regina," Maxwell said, his voice carrying through the microphone, but speaking only to her. "This past week with you has been the most genuine, beautiful experience of my life. You saw me, not my wealth or status, just me." Regina's eyes glistened with tears. "Maxwell, I don't understand. All of this?" "I know I wasn't completely honest about who I am," Maxwell continued. "But everything we shared, every conversation, every laugh, that was real. The real me." He released her hand and slowly lowered himself onto one knee. The crowd gasped collectively. Regina's hands flew to her mouth. Maxwell pulled out a small velvet box, opening it to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "Regina, I'm not asking you to marry me tonight. That would be too fast, too much. But I'm asking if you'll give me the chance to continue what we started, to build something real, something based on who we truly are, not what we own." Tears streamed down Regina's face. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes!" The ballroom erupted in applause as Maxwell stood and embraced her. In the crowd, Hannah stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. Her beautiful dress suddenly felt like a costume. Her diamond jewelry felt like shackles. She had chosen the luxury car over the bicycle, the expensive meal over the simple tacos, the appearance over the substance. And she had lost everything. People around her began whispering, recognizing her from Maxwell's story. "That's her," someone hissed, "the one who threw water on him." Hannah felt every judgmental stare like a knife.
Hannah couldn't bear the whispers and stares any longer. As Maxwell and Regina descended from the stage, surrounded by well-wishers and congratulations, Hannah pushed through the crowd toward them. "Maxwell," she called out, her voice cracking. "Maxwell, please." The crowd parted. Maxwell turned to face her, Regina still at his side. Hannah's carefully applied makeup was smudged with tears. All her pride, all her arrogance had crumbled away, leaving only raw shame. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, then louder. "I'm so sorry. I judged you. I humiliated you. I threw water in your face because of a bicycle." Her voice broke. "I was shallow, cruel, and blind. I chose appearance over character, and I was wrong, so terribly wrong." The ballroom was silent, everyone watching. Maxwell studied her for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, his expression softened. "Hannah, I forgive you, but I hope you've learned something tonight." "I have, Hannah," said Hannah, wiping her tears. "True worth isn't measured by cars or clothes or bank accounts. It's measured by kindness, respect, and character, things I failed to see." Regina stepped forward and gently hugged her friend. "We all make mistakes, Hannah. What matters is what we learn from them." As the gala continued, Hannah slipped away quietly, leaving behind Benson and the world of superficial luxury she desperately chased. That night changed her forever. She learned that a person's value isn't determined by what they own, but by who they are. That true wealth lies not in possessions, but in character, kindness, and genuine connection. The bicycle wasn't a sign of poverty. It was a test of character. And only those who looked beyond appearances could see the king beneath the simple clothes.